Okay, we are reading Your Psychic, an MIT trained scientist proven program for expanding your psychic powers by Pete A. Pete A. Sanders Jr. This book is dedicated to that part of each of us that knows we are unlimited and strives to explore our full potentials and freedoms. See, Albert Einstein, there's some quotes in here. The important thing is to stop. The important thing is to not stop questioning. Albert Einstein. Always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any one thing. Conquest is the greatest of all victories, or self-conquest is the greatest of all victories. That last one was Plato. One before that was Abe Lincoln. Got some acknowledgements. Then we have contents. So I've read this book a little bit. And I read a little bit. I don't know if you've ever read like self-help books and stuff like that, but this book repeats a lot of the same information, I think, over and over and over and over and over and over. And a lot of self-help books do the same thing. They think that they're telling you, something else, but then they're not. Alright, preface. Before you read this book, if you ever wished you could reach beyond the everyday world and experience virtually unlimited or limitless knowledge and control over your destiny, the time for merely wishing is over. If you've ever dreamed being able to tap psychic insight, and wisdom whenever you need it. The time for just dreaming is over. Those skills for achieving those goals are now within your grasp. Imagine what it'd be like to wake each morning knowing what the whole day holds in store for you. Being able to sense in advance the moods of the people you will meet with, to take exactly those steps that will help you be successful in all that you do. That power can be yours. By the time you finish reading this book, the capacity to access other people's temperaments and personalities, and the ability to sense, hear, and see events before they can become everyday skills for you. That is, I know, a startling claim but during my years of biomedical chemistry and brain science study at Massachusetts Institution of Technology, MTI, I discovered basic principles and training techniques that make these psychic abilities available to anyone who wants them. Later, I refined and successfully tested those methods around the world. I have taught them to thousands of men and women. Now in this book, I will share them with you. No longer need you to be limited to mere talking about the idea of extrasensory perception, or to marvel at random psychic experiences others have, or to keep seeking help or counsel from a few naturally gifted persons who are labeled psychics. The psychic world is real, and you can be a part of it. The freedom to explore your higher SPI potentials is not only your birthright, but the most important of your personal liberties. Knowing how to use those potentials in practical ways, how to tap on demand the psychic abilities heretofore locked in within yourself. Heretofore, what the crap does that? Is a weird. Okay, will provide you with life-changing and life-enhancing opportunities, the right to explore and develop your psychic talents and to apply them to your daily life, has been suppressed for thousands of years. Superstition and dogma, ridicule and cynicism have combined to shroud SPI and what we have come to call paranormal abilities in the veil of fear, mystery, and misunderstanding. The myth that SPI is limited to a few psychics or only random uncontrollable experience has barred the door to the greatest of human adventures. Despite these obstacles, beliefs in the existence of paranormal abilities and SPI phenomena. I'm sorry, SPI. SPI? That's Springfield. That's not ESP. I'm seeing it as ESP, but I'm saying SPI. I don't know why I'm saying Springfield. Maybe I'm thinking I'm flying. Okay. Alright, ESP phenomena, not SP. ESP phenomena. Whenever you fly, and you fly to Springfield, Springfield's called SPI, I think. We're going to go with that, because that's the only reason I can come up with why I was saying that. Okay. And ESP phenomena has managed to flourish. A recent University of Chicago survey reported that 67% of those queried, 2 out of every 3 persons claims they have had a psychic experience. I believe that 100% of us are psychic and capable of using our ESP at will as easily as we blink our eyes or think a thought. Consider that we live in an age when most leading physicists accept the existence of realms of phenomena beyond the three dimensions of our physical environment. Scientists who are proponents of the new superstring theory of atomic physics believe that all matter, including human beings, exist in 10 dimensions. What? 10? In that all matter and energy is able to communicate at subatomic levels. You too possess the power of unlimited communication. It exists in your mind, your personal, highly sophisticated internal receiver and transmitter. Most of us use only about 10% of the vast capacity, while the other 90% of its power goes virtually untapped. Hold on. I had a weird dream, actually. I had a weird dream that... Okay, so... This dream is so weird. Okay. It involves people that I know of. I do not know these people. Alright. So, I have to stop because dreams are important. Dreams are important. Okay, this one was important because, alright, so, this dream that I had, and I just forgot that I had it until, I must have had it whenever I took a nap today. And then I forgot about it, now I remember it. But, alright, so, I went to some comic book store that I have no idea this comic book. I've never been to it, ever, and the owner was the owner of Lake Point Grill. I don't know. I don't think he's into comic books whatsoever. So, I don't know why he was the owner. But, it was extremely big. It was like a really big comic book store. And I don't know if they did... I don't know if they did food or not. I don't think it was a restaurant, too. But I feel like I had food while I was there. I feel like, okay, so the comic book clerk, the dude that worked the store, he was a semi-famous person that I know of. And I don't even know him that well. Alright, his name is Ben Byrne, and he is on a podcast, Ghostfire Gaming and stuff, right? I don't know him that well. I don't follow him or anything. I don't know. I think I know how he got in my dream, but I don't know for sure. But, okay. So, he was the dude working there, right? And I was shopping or something, and Del Kingsmo was there. She is also part of that them, but she's not, like, part of Ghostfire. She's just, like, a guest on their show and whatnot. A forever guest. Or, I don't want to say forever. Like, she's freelance, but she likes hanging out with them. Alright, so she was there too. I don't know. Alright, there's a bunch of stuff happening where, like, I don't remember buying any comics. I do remember Ben Byrne making food for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't know what type of food he was making because I don't remember what it was at all. I think it was some sort of food because, like, we ate and whatnot. I don't know. And he was really cool to talk to. Like, I don't know if he was acting like he acts, on the show or whatever. I don't know if he was like I don't know. He was just somehow there was food involved, and I got to walk around the store with food. That's a funny thing though, because I don't whenever I go to stores, and a lot of the time they're like no food or drink, I'll totally bring a drink in. Like, if it's a drink from a freaking, gas station, or if it's a drink from, like, a fast food joint, I'll totally bring it in with me, and I'll carry it around and drink it while I'm looking at whatever. But I don't, like, leave it, I don't leave and trash their place or anything like that. I just don't follow orders very well. Not that one. If it's like a grocery store, I usually don't do that at a grocery store, but, like, pretty much anywhere else. If you've ever been to Costco, they got their own, little, I don't know, restaurant place where you can order food and sit down and eat if you want to. And they're really good. I think they have really good hot dogs, if I remember correctly. And terrible. Don't get their freaking it's a cinnamon stick. A churro. Don't get any churros from them. Churros suck from Costco. Whenever you go to a freaking game, get a churro. Don't get them at Costco. Like, any type of game. I remember I was at a baseball game with my grandpa, a Giants game, and the whole time I was trying to find a freaking churro guy. I was like waiting. There was another time where I had my brother. We were at an NBA game. My brother, he didn't care. He was all about trying to go off and get food while the game was going on because he's not that big into sports. But so I was like, okay, whenever you get, I think he was getting nachos. I was like, whenever you get your nachos, go and look for a churro place for me, because I want churros. And then I was like, or ice cream. And he couldn't find either. There's no ice cream or churros. However, like, he went through the whole thing, I think. He was like, yeah, I went around the whole building and I have no churros. And so while we were sitting there's the people that come down the aisles with stuff that they sell. Boom, churro guy. I was like, churro guy, give me a churro right now. And then sort of the same thing happened at the baseball game too. I was looking for a churro. I actually found a churro, but I had to get up and wait in line to get it, I think. And then there's a dude who walked by who had churros. I was like, are you serious? I just should have waited. Alright. I don't know what I was eating though, but we walked around. I don't remember what we did. I think it was quite large. There was like a back area where the like people could lounge and hang out, and like I remember like almost walking out and being done several times, but then I'm like, no, I have to go up and get something else, and I think it was all food. I don't know how a comic book store is also a food mart. I don't know, but if a comic book store did sell food, it should be more like a convenience store, like a comic book store with a convenience store connected to it. Not like, through doors or whatever, but like in a mini strip mall or something. So you can have the convenience store and have the convenience store sell some actual like food that you make. I just had some food from a convenience store, like a little corner store, uh, that they make for you, and wow, I shouldn't have done that. I was so sick. I can't eat fried food for whatever reason. I don't know how. I don't know why. Alright, that was a weird dream that I had though. I don't know. It was a nothing dream. I don't remember a lot of it actually. Like there was a lot more that happened because I remember that the owner was the owner of Lake Point Grill too, and he had something to do with it at one point. I think he came out or seen him or something, and then like me and Dale, I don't remember what we were doing. I think we were. I don't know. I don't know if there was like maybe there was. Maybe we were looking around while we were eating. I am not sure what we were doing. But then, yeah, there's a very interesting dream. Not that I remember the whole thing, but if you really want to try to memorize your dreams, you should keep a dream journal. Dream journals are key. Okay. Bu- 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 Alright. Okay. How far are we getting? Okay, here we go. Alright. It says most of us only use about 10% of its vast capacity, while the other 90% of its power goes virtually untapped. The goal of this book is to show you how to tap fully the limitless energy of your mind and break through into the dimensions beyond. I know you can achieve this because I have done so myself, and I help thousands of others to do so. Okay, that's not a real sentence. In my opinion, to do so. Let me take you back for a few moments to the beginning of my personal belief in ESP to to the start of my research for ways to use it for a better, more fulfilling life. This is just the preface. I think I want to skip it, but I don't. As a child, I was fascinated by the original television program ESP, or on ESP, titled Alcola Presents. It was later renamed One Step Beyond. Each week it dramatized a factual story having to do with a paranormal experience. As I still recall, one tale of psychic communication over vast distances, another recounting premonitions of the sinking of the Titanic, and still another of a dream that forewarned a man of physical danger. As a result, I became to believe that the extrasensory world was real. But mistakenly, I thought that only those with special gifts could access it, or that it could only be experienced by chance. That belief in ESP was strengthened by my youth when widowed mother Aurora, in her search for spiritual substance, took me along as she visited a wide range of psychics and mystics. Time and again, I heard information presented that could not be known or obtained by the physical senses. Although most psychics claimed to be gifted since birth, they at least had seemed to find a way to control their ESP. If they could learn, I reasoned, it must be possible for anyone to be psychic. Even someone like myself who has shown no automatic or natural paranormal abilities. My reasoning proved correct. My first personal psychic experience occurred several years later when I was 15. My mother had invited a quirky old psychic, call him Sam, to teach a group of us how to see an aura, the energy field that surrounds our body and manifests as a halo of vari-colored light. Sam's clothes were disheveled and he fidgeted constantly, but he professed to know everything there was to know about or a vision. In truth, he was an adept at it, and could see auras at will. That night, he was going to share his secrets with us. Sam told us to relax our vision as we looked at Cecile. The aura model for the evening, Sam instructed us to notice the places on our body where we felt an itch. Then look at those same places on Cecile's body to see what we observed. I thought this was the most ridiculous approach to aura vision I've ever heard. I was sure this weird method couldn't possibly work, so I didn't try it at all. I just relaxed and went along with it. To my surprise, I suddenly saw Cecile's aura. Around her head, there was a brilliant light blues with flashes of dark red. Around her body, the aura was a dull gray, with two dark scar-like lines across the area of the abdomen where I had felt an itch just a moment before. Afterwards, Sam explained that the blue light around Cecile's head had represented her basic calm personality, and the red flashes represented her tendency to give away at times to explosions of temper. She also had 2 recent abdominal operations. For me, the experience proved that auras did indeed exist, although itching did not strike me as the best technique for disconcerting them. Only 2 others in the group saw anything of Cecile's aura. I felt that, in my case, the very ridiculousness of Sam's method had prevented me from trying too hard, and as a result, I truly relaxed. It was that totally relaxed state, I believe, that first allowed my psychic vision to unfold. I soon learned to discard the gimmick of itching and just relax naturally to open my, quote, third eye. The psychic marketplace. Growing up in South California, I had a chance to see every type of psychic imaginable. Those experiences in the psychic marketplace convinced me that while some psychics were gifted and sincere, others clearly exaggerated their abilities. I recall one California woman, let's call her Helen, whose psychic reputation was so widespread that she and her husband held nightly sessions for different groups all over the state. At these meetings, Helen would open a channel to a spirit guide she called Tomor, and through him answered questions and delivered messages. I was struck by the way Helen's aura varied as she answered different inquiries. For example, one woman said she felt her husband was in trouble, but she could not communicate with him. How do I get him to talk to me about what's bothering him? She asked. Helen easily and confidently channeled information and advice, which the questionnaire later reported was accurate and worked effectively. And while she did so, Her aura remained solid and wide and bright, but another woman asked a question about a possible career change. Helen's aura faded and shrinked. It seemed as if she was unable to respond. I expected Helen to say something like, "I'm drawing a blank on that. So perhaps you need to make your own decision." Instead, Helen gave the woman specific advice on what job to look for, then even recommended to move to a different city. This time, while she was speaking, her aura remained narrow and dull. I was startled by the difference, but since I was new at seeing auras, I said nothing. Later, I learned that the woman did move, and with disastrous results. She spent 9 months unemployed looking for a job that never materialized. When I asked others in the group about it later, they all said that they had neither seen no aura or noticed no change. With no evident psychic ability of their own, these people simply placed total faith in Helen, whom they believed to be gifted. Most of them went to their psychics as well and relied totally on their answers to their questions. The saddest thing about this, I realized, was the circle of psychic dependency that enclosed both the psychics and their clients. Helen, at one time, described aspects of my life she could not have known without ESP, and I knew she was extremely psychologically open. The answers she gave when her aura was bright proved to be accurate, but those she gave when her aura was dim proved to be flawed. And I believe Helen knew they were flawed. She was just ensnared in the trap of psychic dependency with her clients. What I mean is, people who do not know what they have or can develop their psychic abilities place the burden of tremendous expectations on the Helens of the world. The persons that they believe can use ESP to help them, the pressure of those expectations no doubt led Helen to exaggerate her natural psychic talents. In the process, everyone lost. Over the years, what stayed in my mind about this and similar examples of psychic dependency and expectations was the fact that there were so many people eager for information about the psychic world. I believe these people deserve better than the false gurus, commercial rip-offs, or outright charlatans who often seem to dominate the psychic marketplace. I believe that reliable knowledge of extrasensory world and the practical methods for obtaining it should be made available to everyone. You shouldn't have to depend on someone else to be psychic for you. You should be able to be your own free soul. I head off to college looking for specific ways to make that desire a reality. Alright, You got two more pages. Although, as a pre-medical student at MTI, I studied the basic hard sciences such as biology, chemistry, biochemistry. I found my true niche in the psychology department, where I immerse myself in courses and laboratories works on psychological psychology and the brain science. In simpler terms, I studied the brain and the senses, all that we know about them, and all of their yet untapped and unlimited abilities. When I graduated from MTI, I was accepted to attend Harvard Medical School, but after much soul searching, I decided to offer and I declined the offer and decided to follow a different career path. At MTI, you will see in the next chapter, I had uncovered principles and techniques I believe could help out the psychic ability that lies dormant within all of us into anyone's grasp. I know there's a greater need for responsible work in that field of the I know there was a greater need for responsible work in that field than the field of traditional medicine. I felt I could touch and enhance more lives by providing this type of service. I believe that individuals who search for psychic development have a right to learn without to pay large sums of money or join a cult. I kind of agree with that. But how much is your book, guy? $9. That's kind of expensive, right? $9. $9 kind of expensive for a book, right? Especially a paperback book. $9. All right. My goal was to find a way to make inexpensive, dominational psychic education widely available. In 1980, after traveling to many parts of the world to test my theories and techniques in a variety of environments and cultures, I achieved that goal by founding Free Soul. It is a non-profit organization that makes available revolutionary self-teaching techniques for developing extrasensory talents and expanding the human potential. Free Soul currently has hundreds of instructors who offer classes throughout the U.S. as well as cassette courses and textbooks. Further information, write Free Soul, P.O. Box 1762, Sedona, Arizona. You're really plugging yourself for that, aren't you? There is no doubt that psychic potentials exist. The question is, are you going to develop the higher potential for yourself or allow it to remain blocked and unused? The answer lies in this book. It contains the fundamental elements of the Free Soul teachings, along with self-discovery exercises and a wealth of personal experiences with psychic living. It will show you how to unfold and fine-tune your psychic abilities. Let me share with you a taste of what lies ahead. Chapter 1 tells the story of my discovery of the body's 4 psychic perceptional areas and the 4 psychic channels they open up to you. Chapter 2, although Chapter 2 through 5 discuss in depth how to use your psychic, these 4 senses. Each chapter describes the personality traits that accompanies each specific psychic strength. You will learn from this how to best deal with other people and how to gain new keys for career and personal success. You heard that, right? I wonder what the fuck that was. How to gain new keys for career and personal success. Chapter 6 explores the world of aura, how to sense and interpret the body's energy field, and how to use your new knowledge for your personal benefit. Chapters 7 and 8 will take you beyond ordinary psychic sensitivity into even higher potentials that can help you reduce stress and heal yourself, increasing your creativity and expanding the boundaries of consciousness beyond the 3-dimensional world. Chapter 9 is Our Gateway to Tomorrow, with examples from experiences of the Free Soul graduates. You will learn how to expand your new newfound psychic skills, and take an evolutionary step towards the control of your own destiny. Alright, the frontier ahead. When you answer the challenge of seeking your highest potential, the greatest journey of your life begins. Before you spread the unlimited frontier of the mind, the psyche, and the soul, this journey into new territory is neither hazardous or difficult, but it does require courage to explore, to change, to grow. This book and the keys it contains will provide you with the foundation and the support you need to make that journey a reality. Know what you seek from this book is possible. More important, know that learning how to find what you seek is invaluable. The wisdom you gain from that quest will give you more than knowledge. It will give you the freedom to be unlimited. It is your birthright as a free soul. Okay. This free soul mumbo jumbo is kind of bleh. Keeps promoting his other crap. I get it. I mean, it's a $9 book. It's not breaking the bank. I wonder how much these textbooks cost. Or how much these cassette tapes cost. Alright, let me... I'm sort of hungry. I ate a little bit today, but I'm still hungry. I should probably make something. So, the grocery store that I usually go to, it's closing, and it's the closest one to me, and it sucks because now I have to go to a different one. It really sucks whenever people will say that they'll help you, but then, like, they won't. That sucks. Like, my brother was supposed to give me a ride to go to the grocery store, and we planned on it and everything, and then he's like, yeah, I'll call you in the morning around 7. He said call at first, right? I'll call you in the morning after I get back. So, the morning rolls around and I get a picture sent to me at like 6:40 something. And then that's it. I wake up at like 7:40 something. And I'm like, okay, he sent me that picture. That was it. Then I text him at 9, and I'm like, I guess I'm walking. And then he finally texts me back after I get home, you know what I mean? Like around 11 or something. He's like, hey man, did you already go? Like, yeah, that's why I told you I was gonna do 2 hours ago. So, I couldn't get a bunch of groceries because I was walking, right? I can't hold a bunch of stuff while I'm walking, home and back and forth. So, and they didn't have bread. They had zero bread. And, I live off peanut butter and jellies and mac and cheese with cut up hot dogs. Those are my two meals I've been living off of for a while. So, um, I couldn't get any peanut butter and jelly. I mean, they had peanut butter and they had jelly, but uh, there's no bread. So, yeah. My brother, I like, yeah, he calls me around 11 or something. He's like, hey man, you still need bread? And I'm like, I'm thinking that you did this on purpose, you know what I mean? Like, you didn't really want to give me a ride. That, because obviously you didn't want to give me a ride because, like, you didn't call me, you didn't text me, you sent me a picture, and you thought that that was enough to get me up, to get my attention to get up, you know what I mean? If you really wanted to give me a ride, you would have called me. Or whatever. Like, none of this texting crap. You would have straight up called me. People like to make believe that they're good, but then they're actually not so good. You know what I mean? Like, Okie dokie. Let's go. Why is that on? I was just watching it. I'm like, I'm an idiot. It's the world's smallest samurai sword. put on your hip here. You're like, yes, this is. Throw an apple at me. I will slice it in half. All right. Yeah. Well, I could probably go on for a little bit longer. I guess we can. Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. That's exactly what I wanted. Alright. I believe these are good. The dogs are ready. So last time I was making mac and cheese and hot dogs. I I usually throw in the noodles first, right? But I can't cut the hot dogs fast enough to stir the noodles and cut them up and put them in like quick enough, because the noodles will get kind of over. Sometimes they'll get over a little bit overdone. So this time I'm like, I think I'm gonna cut the hot dogs, throw them in first once it starts boiling, and then throw in the noodles afterwards. It will ensure that the hot dogs will get more done, so there's no, I don't know, any type of food dilemma. Just to double check, you always make sure that your cooking stuff is clean and sanitary. Not that I wouldn't clean it and put it back, it's just I've had lots of food poisoning like symptoms lately. Let's go, boil. Come on, boil. Boil, boil, boil. Let's go. I always thought it was funny that after all these years of evolution, billions and trillions of years of evolution, and the best way that we have to test noodles still to this day is tasting them. Like, you gotta taste test them. I find that funny. I find that really funny. Maybe we just haven't evolved very much. Way less than we think we've evolved. Okay, maybe I'll do that. That one seemed pretty good. Try it again. Ow. Yeah. I think they're good. I'm going to turn this baby down a little bit. Yeah. Try not to burn my hands. These pot holders suck. Rubber pot holders suck so bad. Especially, these rubber pot holders have metal sticking out of them. I'm like, it defeats the purpose of what you're trying to do there, which is protect your hands. For style points? Ooh, stylish. No, I want something that protects my hands. Stupid pot holders. Stupid pot. Stupid dog. Courage, the Cowardly Dog Show. I'm going to turn it off for a second. Throw in a little bit more water, actually, because I don't have any milk. the 2 packets here. Dad, put some water in there. Alright. Let's go with a little bit of butter now. Not gonna go too heavy on the butter. Throw in the cheese, slices, chop, 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 chop. Ta-da! Okay, I just want to clarify. These are my shorts. These are not my. I'm not walking around in my underwear. I'm not gonna show you my underwear, but I do have underwear on. These are short shorts are back, okay? Especially for guys. I seen these at freaking Goodwill. And I was like, yeah, I gotta have them. Even if they're short shorts. I mean, freaking, look, dragons. Freaking dragons. I'm sold. I'm an easy buy, you know. I mean, if you know what I like. Alright. We got some food now. And now we got this plus food. I don't want to burn myself. Especially since I'm wearing short shorts. So I seen this one dude who was wearing pink short shorts, and they're shorter than mine. Like, they're the tightest, shortest short shorts, pink. I thought he was not wearing anything for a second. And like, I don't know, people at my old work, where I used to work at, they were like, I told other people, they were like, yeah, I seen him too. And they kind of laughed about it. But I'm pretty sure no one liked me wearing my short shorts at work. I don't know why. Girls get to wear not whatever. And incredibly delicious. They had a very relaxed attire. And most of the stuff the girls were allowed to wear. Even, short shorts. There were some short shorts that were not okay. I should have brought the water back in. Alright. Chapter 1. Actually, no. I need the water. I need the water. Oh, and I need to plug this in, too. That would be bad. Alright, let me get the water real quick. Sorry. Chapter 1, the 4 psychic reception areas. Do you remember last time you were at a large cocktail party or at an convention where dozens of conversations were going on at the same time, with literally thousands of waves ratcheting around the room? You probably found the noise overwhelming. But when you focus in their direction and listen more intently, you're able to zero in on the person you were talking with, or if you wished, even picked up what someone far across the room was saying. That's a simple illustration of how selective focusing heightens our sensory abilities. Another way is you stare when you want to see something more clearly. Staring locks the most sensitive part of physical vision. The fova, if I'm pronouncing that right, fova of your eye and onto whatever you're looking at. These common examples illustrate how using selective focusing with your 5 physical sense organs, eyes, ears, hands as an aspect of the skin, tongue, and nose help sharpen your ability to see, hear, touch, taste, and smell when you want more information or greater detail. I'm sorry. All right. You use these focal points so naturally that you are seldom aware of what you're doing. Similarly, the 4 psychic senses have focal points on or around your body that can increase and amplify your extrasensory abilities. I call them the psychic reception areas. The locations for advanced psychic feeling, psychic vision, psychic hearing, and psychic intuition. Just as physically focusing on your ears at the cocktail party helped you hear a particular conversation that had previously just been background noise, so focusing on a psychic reception area can open the way for you to experience psychic impressions with greater clarity. Once you know the location of the psychic reception areas and how to use them, you'll be able to access your 4 psychic senses on command. That is, whenever you want. In effect, you will be be doubling the amount of information you receive about people, places, and events because you are using 9 senses, 5 physical, and 4 psychic, instead of just 5. Think of what that can mean. Have you ever walked into a room after 2 people were just arguing and felt the air was so thick you could cut it with a knife? Of course you have, but the arguments don't cause the air molecules to become more dense. You are experiencing a psychic feeling, and what about all those times the phone rang and you knew who it was before you answered? Psychic intuition makes this possible. Wouldn't you like to be able to hear the truth about a product when a salesman is trying to sell you something? You can, with psychic hearing and psychic vision, and psychic vision can give you the advantage of being able to see real truth reflect in that person's aura. Until now, you probably have been using experiences with ESP randomly, but this book will develop the ability to sense psychically all the time by learning to focus on the psychic reception areas. You will receive stronger impressions, strong enough to avert your attention from the physical senses. With practice, even, subtle energy patterns will be discernible. Best of all, you will be able to develop your extrasensory abilities safely and steadily. When you're able to turn them on at will, you can also turn them off to prevent the possibility of a psychic overload. Additionally, you will have the increased security at Additionally, you will have the increased security that greater awareness and skill always brings. How the psychic senses work. All of our senses, physical and psychic, function in part by receiving and responding to some form of energy. Physical vision depends on the energy of light waves striking the eye. Physical hearing senses the vibrational energy of sound waves. Taste and smell function through chemical energy reactions between certain molecules and receptor cells of the tongue and olfactory areas. The psychic senses follow a similar pattern, except that the energies they interact with cannot be discerned physically or measured by current technology. That should not deter you from exploring your psychic ability. Many forms of energy affect your life whether you understand them or not. 200 years ago, little was understood about electricity, but electric energy existed, though scientifically unexplained. Lightning struck, electric eels gave shocks, and the nerve system functioned. Even today, you may not fully understand how electricity works, although you routinely use it. Okay, I want to comment on this electricity stuff because this is an interesting topic. Alright, even today, we uh, don't we don't know we do not know how electricity works still. It's just a bunch of guessing games, essentially. We still don't understand electricity, but we use it all the time, and we try to say we can control it. Which is why being an electrician is such a dangerous job, because, like, you may know your stuff, but if you don't know your stuff well enough, you could, you know, not you might not be here as long as the rest of us or something, because electricity, man. Consider what happens when you turn on a light. You don't need to understand how electrons travel back and forth in the wires. Whether or neither do you need to be aware that for each of your thoughts and movements, the electrical energy that is your brain and nervous system has processed millions of messages. You don't need to know that each of those brain messages involves billions of complex exchanges of chemical energy into electrical energy. Instead, you have to, you have learned by experience how to make those forms of energy work for you in practical ways, even though you might not know how they work. You just raise your hand and flip the switch and the light goes on. You need to adopt the same approach to using your psychic senses. They receive the psychic energy that is emitted by all people, places, and objects. Because you are energy, you can receive and identify those extrasensory vibrations. Much about the human brain is still unknown, and we use the word mind as a sort of shorthand to describe mental abilities that go beyond what we know about the physical wiring of the cortex. Brain scientists cannot yet explain how exactly, or can't explain exactly why or how we dream, how memory is constructed, or how we form a creative thought. Yet every day we dream, we remember, and we think. Or consider the mystery of hypnotists. It's been studied and used successfully over a century to reduce and eliminate pain. It has been used in surgery instead of anesthesia to help control addictions, to uncover repressed memories, yet we still don't have a precise idea how or why hypnosis works. The fact is that science today comprehends probably less than a tenth of what our brain and mind can do. The world, where many scientists now believe once unbelievable things, in a world where many scientists now believe once unbelievable things, for instance, that all matter exists in 10 dimensions, that time slows as you travel faster, the particles called tryons which can arrive at their destination before they leave their point of origin, may indeed exist. I'm going to have to look up that word now. Tachyons, T-H-C-H, or T-A-C-H-Y-O-N-S. Tachons. T-A-C-H-Y-O-N-S. Okay, I'm definitely going to have to look up that word. That's a very interesting word. Okay, so they can arrive at their destination before they leave their point of origin. That sounds like teleportation. That the universe is literally a sea of interchangeable and interactive energy. In such a world, the concept of psychic sensitivity, or ESP, is no longer a far-fetched fantasy. Therefore, it is not reasonable to resign yourself to waiting until some researchers announce, "We now have discovered exactly how extrasensory perception operates. You have the permission to use your psychic senses." Even though science does not yet understand how psychic messages are processed, you can and experience them in your daily life. From my early experiences, I knew psychic abilities was real. For more than anything else, I wanted to find a way to help all people to develop their own ESP in a practical way. This was one of those main reasons for my attraction to brain science and biochemistry courses at MTI. I wanted to learn what science knew about the brain, the mind, and the wiring of our nervous system. I hope to find clues for how to stimulate increased psychic sensitivity. Since my favorite professor at MIT, Dr. Dramon Letvit, a mind-boggling, lovable eccentric. Imagine comedian Lou Costello with hippie-length, thinning gray hair, wearing baggy pants and beat-up old tennis shoes. You have a picture of Professor Letvin in the 60s. Dr. Letvin was a pioneer in the study of how exactly nerve cells work. He constantly questioned what science knew and welcomed the challenges of the unknown. To this day, I recall his opening words to a class in a nerve study. "I'm not going to teach what we know about nerves," he said. "Everything we know would take about 2 class lessons to tell you." That's hilarious. Okay, let's see. It would take two lessons to tell you and is relatively boring. Instead, I'm going to talk about what we don't know about the nerves. Dr. Letvin's approach changed my outlook on life. I began to seek answers from the unknown, not just the known. No longer would I no longer would text science be my only venture for exploring the extrasensory world. Personal experience and unorthodox investigation would prove equally valid avenues for me. Unlike many others at the time, I was experimenting with biofeedback, the then new method of affecting such atomic body functions such automatic body functions as blood pressure and pulse rate with the conscious mind. We in the West were just learning that yogis in India had known for centuries that the mind could control the automatic nerve system which regulates those functions. In Dr. Letvin's class, I learned that the connections of the nerve system are so extensive that virtually any single nerve cell can communicate with any other nerve cell in the body or in the brain or the body. The possible interconnections are literally unlimited. Exploring that concept, I tried a different biofeedback approach to lower my heart pulse, or to lower my pulse rate. Instead of merely thinking about being calm, I focused all my attention on my heart. Writing those unlimited nerve connections, I channeled all my awareness to my heart and pictured it slowing down. To my amazement, I lowered my heart rate to 39 beats per minute. In previous weeks, I had never been able to get below 50. That frequently took half an hour of meditation about calmness. I see. So you gotta really think about what you want. You can't just, be calm and everything will come into place. You gotta, whenever you're, whenever you're, talking, whenever you're talking about like lowering heart rate and stuff like that by like meditation or I don't know how they do it. Is it this fingers? I don't remember. Anyways, meditate and it makes more sense to I guess, like, focus your feelings on, like, a part of your body. You know what I mean? Like my calf. If I were to focus, on this calf. This calf has, like, some, varicose veins in it. Like, super, super varicose veins in it. Which means that the calf my legs essentially aren't circulating well, but I've, I don't know. I've had it looked at. They just told me to put this circulation sock on to help with that, or the sleeve. That's what I've been doing, but I don't know if it's helping or not. Like, maybe I should try it. Like, I don't know. If I try to do that, I might fall asleep now. I think I'm gonna put my pasta away. Maybe take another bite and then put it away. If I could achieve that result by focusing my attention on the location of my heartbeat, I wondered if my extrasensory skills could be improved through a similar form of vocational focusing. During the next year, I increasingly noticed all my psychic impressions seemed to fall into four categories. I felt, I heard, I saw, I just knew intuitively that with each type of extrasensory experience, my attention was drawn to a different part of my body. To pinpoint the location of the greatest psychic sensitivity I practiced, focusing on more and more precise areas of my body, and matched them to increase and decrease my psychic sensitivity. It was like playing a game of hot and cold. Each day I worked on a different psychic sense, learning to trigger that particular sensory channel in my dealings with people and in the location decisions I had to make. The methods which I learned to do this, all by which you will learn to do the same thing, will be explained in detail in the chapters that follow. The breakthrough was revolutionary, but basically simple. It involved two facets: finding precise focal points where extrasensory vibrations were received, and realizing that we have four psychic senses rather than, as commonly believed at the time, only one sixth sense. For each of the four psychic senses, there's a specific location around the body that serves as a natural antenna to pick up or amplify these psychic senses, or signals. I named these special places the psychic reception areas. Oh, wow. Hello. So, I'm on chapter 1 right now, but... Okay, here we go. Alright, we're on 10 more pages. I don't know if I can read 10 more. I think I'm gonna maybe leave it off with that for now. Well, I think maybe I'll keep going. I'll try to get to page 20. How about that? How about that? How about you meet me outside? How about that? Alright. The key experiment that sustained my theory that ESP could be tapped effectively via the psychic reception areas occurred when I was working and studying one summer in the biology department at the California Institute of Technology, Caltech. A researcher in brain science was testing left-handed people for their ability to discern spatial relationships. I don't know what those are. Neurological findings suggest that the speech center in the brain of many left-handers spreads into the right and the left hemisphere of the brain, as opposed to the right-handers whose speech centers seems to be from the left hemisphere only. Really? That's interesting. That is very interesting. Alright, so they tried to get me to be right-handed for a while whenever I was a kid. And it was because I had my left hand was broken twice whenever I was young. You know what I mean? So they were trying to make me right-handed pretty hard. So I had to, relearn to write with my right hand a pretty good bit, but I still ended up being left-handed, you know what I mean? I still ended up doing it left-handed. Like, if I try to write with my right hand now, it's so terrible. Like, it's as bad as anybody else's, but I remember my mom's like, yeah, you're whatever that word is, where you can, not but pedestrious and something like that, where you can write with both hands or one or the other. Pedestrious? I don't remember. Alright. I don't know what spatial relationships are. They keep saying spatial relationship. There's another time that they use it after this. It's weird. I like words that everyone understands. I don't like these, you have to look up the dictionary words, you know what I mean? Or you have to look it up in a dictionary to know what you're talking about. And if they do use those words, you should, in this book, you should definitely have an explanation, you know what I mean? What you're actually talking about. Alright. the researchers reason that if this were true, the more crowded right hemisphere, if this was true, the more crowded the right hemisphere in left-handers must work less effectively at its other tasks. Researchers focused on the right hemisphere's function of discerning spatial relationships. They set up a variety of experiments in which the subject to those various hidden curved shapes and decided which of several different sized circles they came from. If the theory was correct, left-handers should do less well at the task than the right-handers. And they did. Right-handers were scoring 16 or 17 correct out of the 20 tries, where left-handers were only scoring 11 or 12 hits. As a left-hander, I realized that this was a perfect opportunity for me to test my extrasensory skills and my theory of selective focusing. I got the researcher's permission to take his test and use whatever sensing methods I choose in making my decisions. By focusing on psychic reception areas to help me identify hidden shapes, I scored 19 out of the 20 on the first test and 20 out of 20 on all the others. How many other tests were there? I want to know. That's something that you should definitely be saying right now. The experimenter, unsurprisingly, was somewhat upset. I was accused of everything from cheating to being the exception that approves the rule. But of course, I had not cheated. I had simply used my 4 psychic senses to extend my abilities. From then on, the world of psychic reception opened up to me steadily, and my once limited ESP quickened and deepened. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna keep telling you about all this stuff, but when? You know what I mean? Like, he keeps saying, yeah, I'm gonna tell you about it. I'll tell you about it. Just wait. Just wait. I'm gonna tell you about it in this book. Just wait. I'm just like, I'm waiting. Please, tell me. Stop making me read like 100,000 pages for no reason. Alright, I'm gonna go to the table of contents real quick. See what we got in there. Okay, now I'm gonna get off here. I don't know why I'm so tired, but maybe it was all that pasta that I ate. I mean, I'm not ungodly tired, but tired enough that I could probably go to sleep. Okay. Yeah, I think I can get off here. I'm gonna go to sleep, get some shut-eye, and I'll probably be back reading this book sometime. Shortly. Till next time, thanks for hanging out with me.